Life is a return journey. We keep going, and then at one point, we turn back and start life all over again. In a small village in Bukomero, Chiwoga district in Uganda, the first leg of my life began. Aside from a high HIV prevalence, my village was known for polygamy. My mother met my father while still in school, and when she got pregnant, she dropped out. Though my father was a wealthy landowner, he did not take care of us. He had other wives and children. My mother cultivated land so that we could have food to eat. She also reared chicken and goats for sale when we needed money. We were poor, but not destitute. But all that changed one day. My dad sold mom's goat, and she dared to ask why. I vividly remember the blows, slaps, and kicks that rained down on mom that day. It did not stop there. Father ordered her out of his house. My mom couldn't leave me behind, and then he told her to take me too. I was only 8 years old, but I remember how great a distance we walked. We made some stops and she carried me a bit, though I knew she was in pain. Late in the night, we made it to the trading center in another village. I slept on the hard bench, but I know my mom didn't close her eyes that night. In the morning, upon hearing mother's story, the owner offered her work in exchange for our meals. Very hardworking and friendly, my mother gained favor with owners who started paying her for her services. Within a short time, we were able to rent a single room at 5,000 Ugandan shillings, maybe around $1, 1.50 cents dollars. I even started going to school, which brought a smile on my face. To supplement her income, my mom found another job at a local bar, serving drinks in the evening. That day she cried all over the way home, and I wondered why. One evening we were told that my father had died, so we set off for burial early in the morning. It took us long to get to the village, and when we did, my stepmother accused us of wanting to grab wealth and chased us away. My mom pleaded a lot to at least let me bury my father, and all was in vain. I never saw my dad's grave, but I did get to see another. 2 years after father passed, I stood by my mom's grave. The trauma of being declared HIV positive combined with watching me drop out of school in primary 4 must have caused mom an early death. The so many uncles I saw visiting us in the night must have been men that had affected my mom with HIV/AIDS. As tears streamed down my face, I remember thinking one parent's death is about all a child can bear. During my mom's burial, the local council chairperson offered to take me in until a relative came to claim me. But no one has ever come. No one ever came. I did all the house chores because I was not in school. I would get so tired and sometimes miss food as well. This was bearable till my caretaker's children started torturing me, ordering me around, and abusing me. One day they ate all the food and didn't keep me any food, though I had been doing house chores the whole day. I made myself a cup of tea and cried myself to sleep. Just like always, tears had become my food for so long. In the morning, I decided to run away to look for my aunt. The aunt mom told me before she died. All she had said is she stays in Kampala. But I was sure I knew I would find her. I hitched a ride from Chako businessmen and got to Kampala on top of the truck. I spent my first night on the veranda of a mosque, and the following morning started looking for my aunt, Sarah. I did not find my aunt. After an entire day with no luck and nowhere to go, I spent my second night on a street corner in Wandegea, a busy Kampala suburb. That second night was the beginning of 3 years on the streets. I did petty jobs, mostly carrying luggages for market vendors that earned me just enough for food. The life of a street child can be hopeless so much. Mine was no different until I met her, Mommy Jane. I was besides on the streets when she approached me and asked me what I would like her to do for me. And I told her all I need in this life is to go to school. She invited me for a meal at her house. What was meant to be an evening meal turned into an invitation to stay and be part of her family. Her husband was welcoming as well as their daughters. I became part of a proper family from then till now. She's still a mother and her family is still my family. They enrolled me into school, paid my tuition and supported me until I graduated with a diploma in computing. Since nothing binds like shared suffering, I never could forget my friends on the streets. During school days, I would go back and check on my friends, most of whom were still on the streets. There was Henry, who had lost his whole family to HIV, just like me. Then there was John, who was the jolliest street child I had ever met. Even Charles, who was prone to pickpocketing and taking drugs. They were like family for 3 years. But every Saturday, I would use my saved pocket money to buy rice and cabbage that I would then prepare and take to my friends on the streets. But food was just one of the challenges they faced. With my pastor's advice, I used what was left on my savings to rent a small room as an office and started His Mercy Children's Center. I was restless and made many connections and friends with people in Uganda and all over the world to join me in getting children off the streets into schools and a better life. I started hosting volunteers from different countries, and I hosted a volunteer couple from UK by the names of James and Kate that found us struggling with the rent, and the owner of the house we were renting had evicted us by then. They ran a fundraising page for us so that we can be able to buy land, and through this is how we meet our lovely president and the vice president. They contributed the biggest amount of money by then, and we managed to acquire 3 acres of land in Busunju, which I was planning to build on our home. But since then, we have never looked back together with them. Chances for Children has kept on hoping and pressing through. Since 2015, all our children have been able to go to school, good schools, have clothes, eat 3 squared meals a day, and live a normal life in a family. But there are so many more other children that cannot even afford this that we are giving to our children in Chances for Children. Just like I had also hoped so many other children before that now must have moved on with their lives. The need, however, still remains. It is estimated that every day 10 children run to the streets for various reasons. I desire that these children go to school like I did, to be skilled enough, be given hope. Sometimes all the children need is a good chance. Our current vision is to buy land and build schools and permanent homes for them, both primary and secondary schools, plus a vacation center to learn skills. This will enable many more children, way more than the ones we have in our Chances for Children. Programmed to attain skilling, it is possible. Look at me. I'm a proof that a life invested in can make all the difference. Together we can continue making carpenters, tailors, leaders, doctors, lawyers, performers, musicians, and many more out of the children on the streets. I am Martin Male, and this is the return leg of my life journey. Will you please join me to make this happen?